All right. Happy anniversary, Ugly Crew. It is our official 1 year anniversary as a team, and Brittany and I just wanted to kind of give you a background of how this all came to be, how we started out as coaches. And so I actually heard about the coaching opportunity through Brittany. So I'm going to let her tell the story that far, and then I'll interject from there. So go for it.
All right, so actually I was going through a time when on Facebook, I was actually deleting a lot of friends because my husband had got onto my account and started adding a whole bunch of people that I didn't know, but he didn't have his own account. So I was like, you know what? I'm tired of seeing all these things from people that I don't know who they are. So I was weeding things out, and then I get this friend request from a girl, Breezy Bitter, and I just ignored it because I don't know who she is. I wasn't interested. But then I saw all my friends accepting this friend request. You know how Facebook will say, so-and-so is now friends with Breezy Bitter. I was like, who is this Breezy girl? So finally, we were in the car, and I asked Ron, I was like, Ron, do you know a Breezy Bitter? And he's like, oh, I think that's Matt's wife. Like, oh, okay, well, she must not be too bad if everybody's accepting her friend request. So I think it'd been a couple months, and I finally accepted her friend request. And she started posting all these things about Beachbody and these free groups that she was running, clean eating, or these challenge groups. And I was like, oh, well, that's cool, but that is so not me. Clean eating totally scares me because, let's face it, the unknown is scary. So, but then she posted that she was looking to build a team, that she was looking for people who wanted to be coaches. And I was like, you know what? I know a girl who would be perfect for this. She is looking for a job. And Michaela, I'll let you take it from there.
So I just had my baby in December of 2012. And I decided after that, I was like, I am going to get in shape. I'm going to get fit. I went to the gym, the YMCA, but it wasn't working out. So my husband was like, hey, let's do Insanity. So I was like, okay. I had no idea what it was, but I was like, sure, I did kickboxing. I can do Insanity, no problem. So we ordered it. I got it. I thought I was going to throw up. I cried. It was just crazy, but I loved it. And so I quit the gym and decided I was just going to do Insanity. And I started to hold myself accountable. I just started posting sweaty selfies, like just to hold myself accountable. I didn't know anything I knew about Beachbody through Insanity. I didn't know about the coaching opportunity. I just knew that this was going to hold me accountable. So I was the girl snapping sweaty selfies every morning. I was the girl taking pictures of my food. And I was also looking for a job, like Brittany said. I wanted to add a little extra wiggle room to my family. And let's face it, I was a stay-at-home mom of two kids. They were 22 months apart, so yeah, they were little, and I was craving like interaction with people. And so I was looking for a job, but I figured it out with daycare and all of that. Like I would have made like $20 a month, and not including the fact that I would have had to ask for time off, and I wasn't willing to give up my freedom to work a part-time job to make $20 and to put my babies in daycare for a long time. So that's kind of how I started, and Brittany sent me a message. I don't know if you want to talk about that or you want me to?
Well, I can't remember exactly how it worked, if I talked to you first or if I talked to Breezy first, but anyway, I connected the two and said, hey, you guys need to talk because I think that this would be perfect for you. You know, you're already posting on Facebook, you're doing what she's doing, but you can get paid for it.
Yeah.
So Breezy, I guess, sent you a webinar.
I messaged her and just said, hey, Brittany told me about this. She sent me a 2-hour-long webinar by Birgitta Lindberg. 2 hours, not kidding. I was like, okay. I started watching it, and the minute she said it cost money, I shut off the webinar. When she was like, oh, you have to spend money. I text Brittany, I'm pretty sure, and I was like, she wants me to spend money to do what I'm already doing. And I remember Brittany was just like, oh, sorry, I didn't know. I didn't know what she wanted. I was like, there is no way I'm doing this. But I thought about it for a few days. I told my husband, who's a dreamer. And he was like, just do it. You want to try Shakeology anyway, sign up as a coach. And I'm like, all right. So I did it. I signed up. And I watched, at that time, they sent us like 3 hours of webinars the day you signed up. I signed up. I watched all the webinars that weekend. I didn't know this at the time. I was Breezy's first building coach, not discount coach. Like, I was all in. I didn't know this for like 6 months. So she really, like, she was good about making sure I didn't know that. She just invited a bunch of her discount coaches. She was like, hey, I have a coach. I think she was kind of freaked out. She didn't know what to do with me. So she asked a bunch of her discount coaches to be builders, and because she needed a team for me to be on, I guess. So I started coaching, and I'm like, hey, Britt, you got me into this. I need challengers. Want to do a challenge group? And she
and I said, do I have to do Shakeology? And she said, yeah. And I said, no. Like I'd seen the commercials on the end of, Insanity and P90X. We'd had the programs, but I'd never committed to them. I tried, but I was a Monday person. If I didn't start on Monday, I had to wait till the next Monday. If I quit halfway through the week, if I had a bad day, well, what's the point of still going? I was like, well, I felt really obligated to join her challenge group because I'm the one that gave her this opportunity. So I talked to my husband and we made it work, and I signed up, and I was in her first challenge group.
She was my only challenger. And I was pumped because I made my first $40 paycheck. And I was just like, I did it. I made money at this.
But it was perfect for me. I loved the challenge group because every morning I would wake up, I'd have a notification on my phone, whether, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. I was in this mental mindset that I don't have time to work out. Insanity was a freaking long program. So, it's like 20 minutes of just warm up. And I was like, babies, little kids at home, I don't have time to work out mentality. But getting those messages first thing in the morning, to inspire me and to push me and to teach me about health and nutrition, it's the kick that I needed.
Yeah, so she was my customer. And I'm like, she got Shakeology in the second month. When she told me she was going to do it, she's like, I'm only doing Shakeology for 1 month. Like, I knew she was only going to do it for 1 month. But her order reoccurred. I don't know if that she meant she forgot to cancel. I don't know that side of it. But I know that December, she got another order. And I was like, hey, you can get this for a discount. And she was like, no way. Like, nope, sorry. Like, I'm like, no, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to sell anything. You just get it at a discount. I promise. But she didn't want to. And so,
going to keep it.
Yeah, she was planning on quitting. And then I don't know when your light bulb moment was you could tell that part. I don't know your light bulb moment.
Well, I was just watching Michaela and seeing the success that she was having. And then I was like, you know what? My sister, this is something she could do. Or I had a friend.
That's right. She was referring people, like a million
people to Michaela. I was like, you need to come do this. You need to do this. And they're like, what is it? I'm like, well, I don't know, but it's good. And so I finally broke down and did her What is Coaching a group. It was a week-long group, and I was like, so how much do you really make? I was like, trying to get information, and it started like I could do this, and I had just this heavy feeling. I was like, and I couldn't kick it. I was like, I need to do this. I was like, there's nobody around me here that does it. So, it's a fresh start. It would be a good thing, but I was scared. So I kind of put it off. And then I was like, you know what? I'm never going to know if I don't try it. So finally I signed up as a coach, and I'm not going to say it hasn't been easy. It's definitely been a roller coaster, but I'm here to stay.
Well, and she signed up as a coach. She hit Success Club her first 3 months as a coach and earned a free ticket to Summit in Vegas. And I can say that we had this like coach to coach relationship, like we would call in chat. Like we knew each other. We weren't like super good friends at that time. We just knew each other. But we had this coach to coach relationship. And I can honestly say like our friendship really started when we went to Vegas. Like we hung out together, we did things together. And for me, that was like the moment I knew I needed to be a coach. Being at Summit in Vegas, sitting there, like it just hits you. Like I bawled the whole time we were there. And it was just because I knew this was my calling. And that sounds really silly, but I'm like, I know.
It's the atmosphere though. You're with those people, you're with like-minded people, and it's just overwhelming.
So our relationship grew through after Summit. Like we just kept in contact. And at one point when we went to hang up one time, I told her I loved her. That was on accident. And I was super embarrassed. Like I called her back and was like, did I just tell you I loved you on like when we hung up? She's like, yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh, super embarrassed. But anyway, that was the start of our beautiful friendship. Anyway, is there anything in between, or do we want to go right into how the crew was formed?
I think we're good. I think, that relationship, like I was the baby coach, she was training me. So we had this, relationship that she's talking about. But then as our friendship grew, we became more of success partners, and, we would talk about what we're doing together, and slowly we connected and we ended up co-founding the Ugly Crew.
Right. And backstory, like we're so funny because we're always like, oh, we're such failures when it comes to success partners, because we both have had our fair share of success partners that have just kind of fizzled out. But it hasn't even been up until recently when we were like, oh, we're kind of each other's success partners. I mean, I'm on the phone with her pretty much. We do Voxer, which is like walkie-talkies. They're so cool. And I mean, there's very few days we don't chat. And it's like, not only our friendships, we're coming up with different ways to collaborate. And that's how it's how it's been for a while. So last February, it was the end of January, we decided that we wanted to create a community. We wanted to come together as coaches and become co-founders of the crew. We wanted something that was going to take the pressure off of brand new coaches. We wanted to be able to just plug you right into trainings, our new coaches right into trainings from the get-go. We wanted that community, that sense of, family for everyone. I don't know, what was creating the crew? What did that feel like for you? Like, what were you wanting to do with that, Britt?
I think we're just looking for unity. I mean, sometimes you have coaches and their upline ends up being more of a discount hobby coach, and they don't really take care of those, strong builders that want to, go. So having, the trainings in place and having the crew page to, for announcements and to connect everybody together, I think it's been really good, so that the people that really are passionate about it and want to keep going, they have the resources and the tools that they need, so, they don't just get lost in the shuffle.
Well, and another thing for me was, and this is kind of just petty and silly, but I remember looking around, and when I first started, everyone, the minute you signed up, had to have a team name, right? So I was Brave Fitness, and I know, yes, Brittany was Rockstar, and I finally did the math when we were, before we did this, and there were over 40 team names in our upline. And I was like,
our little upline.
Yeah, and I heard Brigida, she made a comment one time that just said, if everyone's creating new team names, in the end, you're only a team of one. And it's true. Who was going to want to wear a Brave Fitness shirt when Brittany's Team Rockstar? There's no unity. And what we wanted to create is, if you go, once it gets bigger and grows, when you walk into a Super Saturday and you see someone with an Ugly Crew shirt on, you're immediately bonded to them because, hey, we're somehow connected on the same team. That's how Bombshell Dynasty is. You go to Summit, you go on a trip, and you're like, oh, what team are you on? And you hear Bombshell Dynasty, immediately you're like, oh, who's your coach? Because I'm linked in there too. And that's the pride we wanted to create with you guys. You come from a different high school, you have that school pride, right? But when you go places now as an adult and you hear someone's from Idaho, like for me, when I meet someone, they say they're from Idaho, immediately I'm like, I want to know more because I'm an Idaho girl.
That connection with them.
Right, and that's what we wanted to create. And so don't feel like you can't create your own team name, But honestly, for us, this has just taken the pressure off of creating all of these different team names and trying to recognize different teams, because in reality, you're a member of the Ugly Crew. I mean, that's the pride you get to have, is I'm an Ugly Crew member. So what do we want to touch on now?
Well, in case anybody is new or hasn't picked up on it, UGLY stands for Unique, Gifted, Lovable You. And we chose this because we feel like this is the whole point behind Beachbody. Yes, it's about health and fitness, but health and fitness helps you realize who you are inside. When you're taking care of yourself, then you're confident, you're proud of who you are, because you're not feeling sluggish and lazy and exhausted all the time. And we really want to try and get our team and our coaches to realize that, you know, everybody's unique, but everybody has gifts and talents that are needed. You know, we're just each a different puzzle piece, and we're connected, and we're all useful in their own way. Nothing drives you more crazy than when there's a missing puzzle piece in the puzzle, you know? So everybody's important. You just need to figure out who you are and let it blossom.
Yeah, and I think that's one way to take it. My other way that I love to take it is we all have ugly parts of our lives. I mean, there are parts of our lives that have shaped and molded us into who we are, but not necessarily are we super proud of them. But by being a coach and sharing those ugly parts of your life and how you've overcame them, that speaks to people. And honestly, ugly catches people's attention. I've been on an airplane where the captain stopped me, or the pilot stopped me on my way off and asked me about my shirt because it said Ugly Crew and he wanted to know more. It catches people's attention, and then when they hear it, I mean, I've had people that don't like it, and that's fine, you know. But a lot of people just love the meaning behind it, and it shows you that, you know, that it's okay to be that. We wanted something that was an attention grabber, but we wanted it to have a good meaning behind it, and we feel like ugly is so, I don't know, we loved it. I know Britt at first was like, I'm going to have to think about that one. She wasn't sure about it. I remember telling her, because I was pumped about it. Like, I found it online, and I was like, this is it. And she was like, let me get back to you. And, you know, and I get that it takes time to grow on you.
Grow on me. Just like Shakeology, just like coaching, just like everything.
Right. And I mean, I think the thing is you have to own it. Be proud of the team that you're on. Be proud of the name, you know, because eventually you will come to love it because you love your team. It's that sense of pride. I mean, that's how it comes to happen. So anyway, that's why we're the Ugly Crew. We, you know, plus we love nautical type stuff because they're so symbolic, you know, the anchor, the lighthouse, the North Star, you know, there's so many different things that, you know, crew incorporates. And so that's why we're the Ugly Crew.
We're saving lives.
Right. We are, yeah, life preservers, which is awesome. Is there anything else you want to talk about, Britt?
I think we covered it all. I think that's it in a nutshell.
So we just wanted to wish you happy 1-year anniversary. We're so grateful to have you in our crew. We want this to be something that you're proud to be a part of. We want you to understand the background that we really, when we set out to create this team and to become co-founders, there was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that went into this. I can tell you lots of nights of crying. I mean, me calling Brittany crying. We didn't do this just like on a whim. You know, we really had to sit down and decide, what are we going to do? Who do we want to become? And this whole last year, 2015, has honestly been a year for us of just laying the foundation, of taking things that we've been taught.
Figuring it out.
Yeah, and figuring it out, because coaching, you know, you don't have to reinvent the wheel in coaching, but honestly, you've got to tweak it to match you. And so we've spent a lot of time. I mean, you guys probably don't realize how much time we spend talking, voxering each other on how we can make this team better for you guys so that your coaches have more success.
But don't be afraid to own your own business, because that is your responsibility. You've got to dig deep, and you've got to have those aha moments, and you've got to have those frustrating times too. I mean, we've got all these resources here, but you've got to utilize them so that you can make your own connections and so you can grow your teams and help your challengers, because just because we have it, it's not going to help you if you're not using it, if you're not putting it to work. I loved the quote that Michaela posted in the crew the other day about aha moments. They're not just aha moments. You need to turn them into action. So be the CEO of your own business, figure out where you want it to go, and plan out the steps to get you there.
Right. Because you guys are all leaders in our team page. We want you to know that. This isn't the Michaela and Brittany show, and we don't like to be the Michaela and Brittany show, honestly. Like, there are times I have to message Brittany and be like, could you post this? I'm pretty sure everyone's sick of seeing me post. So we want you to add and create value into the crew. Like, if you have this, rocking group that you've been hosting, if you've been doing something, it's not, share it, because all this is about, this team is sharing our resources. We're not, what is it? You're a river, not a reservoir. Like, we want to create this wave and this momentum, but we can't do that if we're all withholding, what we have, because what might work for me, Brittany and I are totally different people, but that's why we work, like, because we kind of balance each other out. We're just different. But the cool thing is she shares something with me and I can take it and tweak it to make it my own. And so what she might say to you might ring a bell, whereas if I say it the same thing but in a different way, it might not ring it for you.
And I think that's why success partners are so important. They're not somebody to just feed off of and, vent to, but, say, hey, help me talk through this idea. And then they can say, oh yeah, that would be awesome. Add this to it. Or, they'll take it and tweak it to fit them. And then you say, you take their advice and, so it's all about communication and having those relationships. It's not just, don't ever feel like you are in a fog and like it's, you're the sole person. Get out there and be you so that people can see the beauty behind you.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to share your struggles in the team, in our crew page. Like, obviously create positivity with it, but I think you'll find if you step out of your comfort zone, because I don't like to, I don't like to admit that I'm a failure, and I get that. I think that's a lot of our personalities in the crew. We don't like to be vulnerable. We don't like to share that, but I think you can find if you step out, like Brittany said, and you share it, you'll find that you're not alone. And
somebody's going to connect with you, and you're going to find your partner.
Right. So we just want you to know that you do play a significant part in our team. Like, we wouldn't be a team if it was just Britt and I. So we want you to step up, and we want you to share, and we want you to be a proud crew member who, is adding value and just helping us keep it running and going. So anyway, yeah. So
yeah, and as you add coaches and builders, you're going to want to be seen as a leader so that your coaches don't overstep you. You're responsible for those baby coaches.
Yep. So we're here to help you, and
we love you. And
dream, sparkle, and shine.
Dream, sparkle, and shine.
Happy anniversary. I'm going to stop recording right now.